Well, I mean, I'll just open up and say an important week for us and an exciting week, just mainly for the seniors and what they've done here, the ground that they've been able to break, and the type of season they had, and everything we've been through over 3 years. It's special for me as a coach to have an opportunity to have these guys play this week in front of a home crowd and for the last time. And it's crazy that Trey and Shannon, Cody, and Austin will be performing this week here for the last time. There's been so many great memories this year, and we've been through so much. So it's that's what the week's all about for me.
Bobby, what did they do specifically to break that ground?
I mean, I just think we had our struggle. We went through our adversities together. They went through a coaching change. Shannon left another school where he's having a lot of success, and followed me here. And we've the last prior 2 years, went through some difficult times as we grew as a program, and then to just burst onto the scene nationally, and what these guys did through several months of the season, and some of the wins that they had are legendary wins that I'll always remember, they'll always remember, and just put our program in a different light. It really it made coming to see Arizona State basketball exciting here, and just the turnouts and the crowds, and it's been because of what those guys endured and what they fought through, and then just having the right group. So it's been as fun a year for me coaching as any I've experienced, and I have no desire to see it end anytime soon, and neither do these guys. Well, that's the signs I'm getting here on the practice floor leading into this week's games.
How much will their finish over these last few games, however many games you play, how much will that define their tenure?
I mean, I just think they deserve to play great basketball, and we've been in a lot of close games, and we've been just a fraction off from what we need to be for whatever reason with some of our shot making. And I think it's as simple as hitting a few more threes in a contest, or making your free throws, and I don't think we're that far off, and I think we could recapture that, and I think that's more the goal, just to be playing at the level or close to the level that we were for several months, that put us in a tremendous position to contend for anything this year. I mean, we were playing as well as any team in the country for a long stretch during the season, so it's trying to get back to those moments, and there's no better time to do it than now.
You talked about Shannon following you, and then you got kids like Cody that embraced you once you got here. How nice would it be for these guys to make this run go as far as you could go?
Yeah, I mean, they're all winners. They're so competitive. They set such a great example. Like, they're what culture building is all about. Just how they work, the type of kids they are, type of students they are. Off the court. I mean, I sleep well at night, knowing that I have Trey Holder, Shannon Evans, Cody Justice in my program, and those guys are going to be highly successful when they leave here. And so it's been an honor and thrill, to coach them, and they've set a very high standard, for future senior classes that'll come through Arizona State.
Coach, I mean, you touched on a little bit, but going through a coaching change, when you came in, obviously, at any level, there might be a little resistance to the players that are already here. Do you feel like when you came in, I mean, to the success you've had now, but they kind of bought in right away and kind of got rolling?
I just think you develop a personal connection, and that's, I think Trey, Shannon, Cody, all in our own way, we have a connection that we built over time and experience, and, time we spent, on the practice floor in July, or on a foreign trip in August, and the different time you spend, it just builds it and makes it better. And that's like one of the cool things and rewarding things about coaching. But it helps when I have some credibility in terms of being a point guard and playing at a very high level for when I did come to Arizona State. Just the idea of learning for those guys, and then the style of play that I talked about playing, I think made a lot of sense for Trey and Cody. And I just hope we finish it the way these guys deserve to have the season finished.
In your career, there will only be one Shannon. Just he helped you establish two different schools. at the outset of your coaching career. What does that feel like as a coach to have that type of a player? And I know you're very close also.
Yeah, I mean, look, Shannon was the first guy that I coached at Buffalo. He was a freshman when I got there and had all kinds of talent and a big chip on his shoulder, and kind of had to tweak some things there and just but we always connected because the passion for the game was very consistent. He and I share that, and just his will to win is I think it matches and exceeds mine, and he's a team guy. And but really, I feel or have felt that way with Trey and Cody as I've spent the time with them, and I look at those guys as a trio now, and so it's been a blessing to be able to coach those three guys.
When you first arrived, do you remember what your first impression was of Trey as a point guard?
I thought he had offensive skill and talent, and had some big games as a freshman, and you could tell that he has got the tools. It's just for me that he needed to make some changes and needed to be a little more consistent, which he developed with his shooting, and his defense has improved dramatically to where I trust him to guard the opponent's best player if that's the case on the perimeter. So he's just become an all-around player, and then he's got the same intangibles as Shannon does in terms of he may not show it because he's more poker face, and but you could tell after we win a big game how much it means to him, just with some of the responses that he's had and how he could show emotion, and then all the clutch plays. He's made so many clutch shots down the stretch to win games for us.
What about Cody? How different was he than he is now?
Cody is always Cody reminded me probably of myself in terms of he was willing to try any pass, and that may not always be the best thing because I had plenty of turnovers when I played too. But I remember a pass he threw my first year at UNLV where he drove down the lane and threw it over his shoulder about 20 feet to Willie Atwood for a wide open three, and I think Willie made it a key part of the game. And I was like, that's who this guy is. He's got such a great flair to how he plays, expressing himself, with his creativity and passing, and then he always seems to have a knack, or in multiple games this year, of making a key shot when we need it. He's got that same clutch, play in him.
What is the value or importance of someone like Austin Witherell?
Austin's just a tremendous kid. He's Austin and I'll joke from now and then. Just got a great attitude, great. He doesn't get anything. He doesn't get scholarship. He's got to pay his own way, and he shows up every day. He's got a great attitude. I played him at the end of the first half versus Oregon State because I trust him. He's a quality player. If we didn't have the type of guard play that we had, he might have cracked the rotation. So it's been fun to have Austin, and he's going to be very successful because he's a great student and just is about all the right things.
You said earlier today in a radio interview that you changed your approach to practice just because of the normal fatigue that takes place this time of year, maybe be less physical. How have the players responded to it all week?
I like our state of mind. I was concerned about that after Oregon State. It was because I wasn't thrilled with how things were going after that game and the way we played, and I think the guys, they got that message after the game. But then you got to heal, and I'm trying to listen to my players and read them and see what they need to have an opportunity to play the best they can play, and so we weren't as physical this week with our practices. We backed off some in that regard, but I like the spirit. I like the mindset of our team right now, and this is typical of most teams, I would imagine. It's typical of my experience as a player and a coach that this time of year you're just not going to be able to physically grind up your players anymore. You want to keep them as fresh. Their fitness is not an issue. It's more of mentally, are they getting worn down, and you want to avoid that possibility because we we have so much to play for. We have postseason, NCAA tournament on the horizon. We have Pac-12 tournament. So it's a lot of great things that we're excited about in the future.
How then do you view these final 2 games of the regular season in terms of what you want to accomplish after?
I mean, I just want us to be ourselves and to play freely, to attack, to turn it loose on the floor and start getting back. You want to be trying to play the best you could play at this time of year in the next real immediate future. And we weren't that way really in either game in Oregon. So this is a big week for that. Just getting ourselves back to playing the quality of basketball we can play, and then, like as I've talked about, just what the seniors mean to me, and every player in the program should be on notice about really attacking this week so that they do the best job they can for their seniors as they play their last home games here this week.
Do you feel like, Bobby, that you guys have done enough to show that you're an NCAA tournament team, or do you still feel like you're playing for that?
Well, I just think that when you win the type of games that we won, it kind of cements your position regardless of what seed line you're on. I'm not sure that there may not be another team that play in NCAA basketball as being 2 number 1 seeds currently, and both on neutral or on the road, and that's significant. Doug, what is it, 14 games we've played single digits in conference. We've been in every game. I think the NCAA tournament's built on knowing teams that could beat great teams, and we've done more than just Kansas and Xavier. Sweeping the LA schools, winning at Utah, which is a very difficult place to play. All these things we've done, I think, has put us in a great position. The tournament is about having teams in there that are exciting, that are in every game, that are going to give you a highly competitive game, that are going to be extremely tough to beat. And I think we've proven that, through the whole season, that even in our losses, we're extremely difficult to beat, and you're going to have to, do quite a bit to make that happen. At the same time, I want us to be playing the best we can, so that we are that team that I know that we're capable of being, in postseason. Because we haven't been quite as good consistently enough over the last couple of weeks.
You'll probably break the home attendance record this week. Were you aware of that, and what's the significance of that as you see it?
I didn't know specifically until today. We met as whole staff, and that was discussed. And again, it's just a lot of pride. I just, everywhere I go around town, and I see people that are enthusiastic about what our players have done, and how entertaining they are to watch, and how they fight for everything. And we got some small guys that are fun to watch, and it's carried over. And then you add some of the big wins that we had early, and then you get a great enthusiasm for what we're doing. So it's been unbelievable. Even through some of our struggles in Pac-12 play, it hasn't stopped anybody from coming here and supporting what we're doing. So it's something that I'll always remember as I keep moving forward, and we're going to keep hope to put teams on the floor like this team that the community is going to want to come out and watch. So this has been outstanding.
Coach, what's the balance too? I mean, you're saying like mentally this time of year, physically they're ready, but mentally like feeling that maybe your team's pressing a little too much, and Shannon said you wanted to basically get back to having fun, but how tough is it to walk that line of not to get them to overpress, but just to keep them focused and relaxed?
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a mental thing. Yeah, just trying to get them in a good space where they're playing highly confident and unselfishly, and knowing that they trust the guy right next to them has got the same approach and wants it every bit as bad as they do. And I don't question any of those things. I just think it's more of an execution thing, and making the right play, and then converting. We just have to we got to shoot a little better. We got to make our free throws. We got to make layups. We can't turn the ball over. Some of it isn't. It's just about execution, and we have to do a better job of that.